Hale Kyoprut Jug Hale Wasteland Settlements. Hello everybody and welcome to Wasteland Settlements. This is going to be a series where I look at settlements that I have made and I want to show them off to you. And before we get into it, I do want to preface that when I do talk about the settlements, I will be talking them in like a lore kind of way, like, you know, like if something looks the way it does, I'm not gonna say like, oh, well, I had to do this to do that, and that's, you know, mechanics, physics-wise. I'm not gonna talk about that unless I specifically engage in it, you know, unless I like say, you know, you know what I mean. Also, want to add a bit to this. If there are any physics issues in this, just imagine that the physics issues are not a problem and that it looks better, because there's only so much you can do in Fallout, and just ignore any issues like that. Okay, that's all I want to say. Anyway, I'm going to show you a few settlements in this episode, and then show you a few more in the next one, and the next one, and eventually I'll cover all the ones that I've made, and we can get to it. To start off, we'll be looking at Sanctuary, and as you can see here, we have a little border here, and that is a way for if raiders come this way, they have to be funneled through this area into a very specific area so that, you know, they can be fought by this group here, along with the fences help with that over here, so they can't just walk around, they have to like engage here. So that's really nice. I only have one of these because I didn't want to put more, because we already have two wherever that one is. And we have one over here in case raider attacks come from this way, of course. You don't want to leave anything. We didn't want to leave anything undefended. This is an empty spot. Here's the vendors. We have a general store, a armory, and a ammo or weaponry area. This is a being from Vault Tech who survived through the Great War, or whatever it's called, I can't remember. So there are vendors here. We have a couch out here for beings that want to sleep out here. For beings that want to relax. This is an empty area. This is left alone because it's a preservation of history. As you can see, the fences have been meticulously rebuilt, and new fences have been guarded up to allow for, of course, defense. We have some being here for defense as well, in case raiders come, or other enemies, I assume. While it's not the perfect defense against raiders, it's at least enough there to where a response could be gotten. Of course, we have the junk fences here, one here. Also, this little turret is really helpful for there, of course. In here, there's also couches set up, but this is also a sweeping area for at least 3, 4, 5 beings. So it's handy to have that. That's a recruitment beacon. Here's another defense area where no being can go through, but it can definitely be defended if beings go that way. I believe that is a Brahmin trough. Through here, I believe, is my old home from when I lived here, back before the war. This being Hosnyun. This is also a Brahmin feeding trough. Here's another defense area. This is also a funneled area where, you know, if a being comes through here, they have to go through there, but there's also this area here, which also has defense, and also this is the garden area or the farm for every being to get their food. Right here is a living area where you can see inside there are more beds and couch to look out, yada yada. And this is kind of the workshop area where beings can be. Of course, the generators and the water. And here's a bunch of mute fruit, which is really resourceful and really helpful for the whole population. That's Mama Murphy. This is also a home that I'm really proud of that I made for every being, because there's also this cooking station here, but you can, you know, come and enjoy everything. There's a bar. You can sit here and eat. You can sit at the bar. Here's a scavenge table with a chair. More beds for those who have to sleep. And that is pretty much, if not it. So, I'm really proud of this. Now, I didn't work a whole lot in the beginning because it was hard to gather resources for Sanctuary in the start. And there's a lot more settlements to be helped out. And so this is sufficient, I believe, for what it is. Of course, I could build it up more, but I'm just really happy to have this here. And I think it's really good for what it is, you know, being in the Wasteland and all. But anyway, now here at Red Rocket Settlement, there are fewer people, but it's also fewer beans, but there's fewer things around just because there's not enough space to work out. Of course, we could expand a bit more later, but I think this is sufficient enough. Of course, we have a bean here to defend. There's a railroad thing.
Day of hard work. It never changes.
Yep. But we also have a recruitment beacon here for when we were recruiting beans to come out. Well, I guess it would be a settlement beacon. Here's scavenger tables, power armor workshop, you know what that is. Here's a clothing shop for beans. Here is a armor shop for beans, a bar shop, or a bar for beans. And this is also an area for beans to sweep, of course, with their own little filing cabinet for, you know, for stuff they need to store away, chemistry to make things. This is also a living area, which I'm really happy about. Of course, Minutemen. Of course, I couldn't fit as many beds in here just because there's not enough space. Of course, like I said, later in the future, for helping out the settlement, I believe we could help out them.
Nothing but trouble.
Shush. Here's the water pumps for beans, you know, whenever they need them. Here's also a guarding area and 2 turrets to help defend this area here. And I'm really happy about putting this here because this is really important. This is really important because beans could come through there and it could be very dangerous. And that's pretty much Red Rocket here. It's not too much, but it's definitely I'm definitely proud of it for it being, you know, somewhere in the Wasteland, you know, needing defending. Do you like that one? And here, as you can see, this is a huge wall. This is Tenpines Bluff. I don't know why I said it like that. Tenpines Bluff. And we have a turret here to you know, defend this opening here. But there's also this cooking station for beans. This is the original house for the original beans who lived here. And, you know, I could have very much, you know, torn that down and made, like, you know, its own thing. But I want to respect that they lived here first. This is somewhere they've worked out. If they want it to be that way, they should be able to keep it that way. But there are also beans that came here. And, you know, a bunch of tato fruit, which is what they were farmed first, but also some extra mute fruit for extra nutrition. Some water pumps, of course, here, a big wall, and having that turret there, you know, even though we can't put sufficient walls over there, that turret very much does help out. And this turret here does help, of course, one for that opening, but also if any bean comes through in, you know, at least the beds are defended where beans are sleeping. And they get better beds because we were able to find more resources at that point to make better beds that are way more comfortable, I'd imagine, than others, especially these in here. So yeah, that is Tenpines Bluff. You know, it could be expanded more, but at the same time, these beans lived here first, and I don't want to take that away from them, because it's really up to them. I just gave them enough defense, and, food and water to be able to sustain themselves, but also some extra beings who need help. That way every being is covered, mostly. So, but yeah, that's Tenpines Bluff. You don't even know how to get around on your own. I feel so bad for you. Here we have Outpost oh.
Look at all the
Well, here we have Outpost Zimonja, otherwise known as the Mercer Safe House for the railroad. Here we have an area where previously this was this area was a raider outpost, but has got taken over. Here, before, this is where the railroad and I set up a teleportation station to get into the Institute. Of course, everything is scrapped now that the Institute has been destroyed, so the Commonwealth is a bit safer. But here we have the concrete walls in these, which is really helpful in defense-wise, because, if beings come that way or this way, they can literally only come through here or there, and that's it. And speaking of things, this is a 3-story building. Do ignore it. Here's a cooking station for beans to cook at, of course. And here's mute fruit and potatoes, which is really helpful. And on the first floor of this big building, we have a table and a couch for beings just to relax, enjoy. Here's a improvised defense area. These are one of the raiders. If you'll excuse me real quick, I do feel a bit famished, so anyway, on the second floor, over here, we'll let them take care of that. Here's some beds here for beings to enjoy, but also a lookout area, which is very nice to have. And up here is a nice relaxation area where you can go sit here, enjoy the views, sit here and enjoy other... and you can also enjoy yourself and eat there. It's not a big spot, and there's only 5 beans here because it's just been hard to gather the stuff to build here. But it is very much defended in a great operational area to work from. They do come under attack of the Brotherhood of Steel and Raiders often, just because of one, this used to be Raiders area, and the Brotherhood of Steel being blown up by the railroad, of course, because they serve no purpose here. So, it's very much attacked just because it is a railroad operational area, but, no worries at this current moment because they can handle themselves pretty good. But anyway, yes, that is Outpost Zimonja. Here we have Starlight Drive-In, which is a very great place to have a settlement just because of its proximity to other settlements, but also its proximity to the city without having to go too far. And so it is a great spot. As you can see, there's a lot of provisioners here with their Brahmin cattle, so let them pass. There's a lot here, actually. Here we have a good defense and an entrance to the spot. As you can see from around, there's no other way to get in, and it is defended if it is an area there. Excuse me. But here we have a guard post, but also 2 turrets just to be very much extra security. I mean, I feel like you're not getting too far with this here. But also there's a cooking station here, which is lovely to have. There are 2 cots in there, actually 3, one in the back over there, for beans. And this is the main sleeping quarters, but also storage and eating, as you can see with the table and the cabinets there. And this is where all the beds are. As with other settlements, I couldn't add, it was harder to build more sustainable beds and better beds, so you know, this was a settlement made before getting more resources. So this is what they have for now. Of course, in the future, it could develop more, as with the rest. This is a guard post, which is a really good vantage point, just because of how far it looks over everything. And having this little pool of water here to get water from is incredible. This guard post here with these 2 turrets, one facing this way in case, you know, they come from the mountain, the hill. And we have these 2 here. This one a bit off the way, that way, you know, if you come from this way, you're getting the full force of all 3. But if you come this way, you're getting those 2, and then you get surprised by that one there. And then, of course, we have the mute fruit here, like with the rest of them. A good guard post here, which is a good vantage point, with another turret, of course. And this is a good area just for general and eating, you know, to shop and get food, and set out here and enjoy yourself. Like I keep repeating, of course, more could be done with this settlement, but at this current moment, this is what we have, and when I show you other ones, I'm just going to say it again. I'm not going to repeat myself anymore with that same thing when we go to more. So yeah, also a robot building station here is wonderful, which I'll show you my precious Salty when we get the chance. I love her. She's wonderful. But yeah, this is Starlight Drive-In. It's a really good spot for what it is, and definitely has a lot more of potential to expand when resources become available for us. So, love it. And also the area here. What's this? Casa di Legno. What the? What is this? Huh? What? I have never... This must be a new thing that popped up. It's got good stuff. I mean, can't complain, I guess. This might just be... I want to say it's like a railroad spot that they set up. I honestly have never seen this before. Either I have really bad vision coming back and forth through here so much, or it's just got set up recently, so... Alright. Neat. And for our last spot that we will look at today, we have Sunshine Trading Co-op. And as with the other ones, it is completely surrounded, besides over there, but we'll get to that. It has a wonderful defense here, you know, a turret, a guard post just for this specific area. Every bean lives in here for the most part. I believe there might be a couple beds in that shack over there. But other than that, yes. As you can see, wonderful beds here. We have paintings inside for every bean. More beds here. And 2 entrances. But also we have this big power generator. This big windmill, as some would call it. Whoa, what the... This spot does frequently get attacked by the rust devils, I will... The spot does frequently get attacked by the rust devils. As I did forget to mention that as well for, I forgot to also mention the Rust Devils for Starlight Drive-In, because they do also frequently attack from there. But we have this here, of course, for defending against these beings. So really happy to have that here. This is a spot that goes for my power armor, which is why there's walls here. No being touches them, of course, except for me and my wonderful wife, Kate, and my other wonderful wife, Piper, who I love dearly. We won't get into my love for them, though. That's a little too much. But here we have a defense area, which, you know, a guard post, and a turret. Wonderful defense area with that. What is that up there? Huh. Good instinct just to shoot. Here's a robot building area and fixing up area. Here's where all of the mute fruit is, where all the farming happens, besides a couple little things over there, a few little things. Along with the water pumps, which is a wonderful spot. We've kind of rigged this to be automatic, to pour out water. It just does that every so often, just to kind of keep the stuff going. Yeah, as I said before, there are 3 beds here for beings to sleep in. Now this, a quick history fact, this used to be a spot for robots, to help out beings, to help out robots that were exploited, you know, like the Mr. Handys and automatrons, I believe. But this used to be a spot where beings, before the war happened, they would help out, you know, the robots so that they wouldn't be, you know, so exploited. This is also another entrance area with this big trap here, which has been broken. I'm not exactly sure what broke you, but as you can see, how this thing works is you step on it, and it comes out and stabs you. And there's also another one here with 2 guard posts, which is a wonderful area. Love it. There's also 2 entrances to this big spot, which are both wheelchair accessible. I wanted to very much make sure it was. Here's a place where beings can hang out, look at the views. Of course, it's foggy today, so it's not as good. It's where beings can eat. Of course, a bar and a clinic. Nice to have them close together. Some seats for them to sit at in case they get tired. But there's also a general store and a clothing area as well for beings. If you can hear the radio, I do apologize if it's loud. Let me turn it off for a second. But this is a spot where beings can also look at the great views. I believe that's a raider outpost over there. But they'd never come and attack, I'm pretty sure. So there's nothing to worry about there. Of course, you can see the wonderful walls I have built for every being here. But also there's a being here who can do plastic surgery, as you can maybe tell. Here's one for haircuts, and here's a place for beings to read books and stuff. And of course this is where books would be, but I believe beings have already checked them out, and we also didn't have that much to begin with, so. But yeah, I really love here because of one particular area, because this is basically my home. Of course, also wheelchair accessible. But you come in here, this is where Piper sweeps, and this is where Kate sweeps, and I can sweep in either one, and whoever is not sweeping there, or if they're away for now, my son Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Will sweep in bed with one of us, or alone, you know, assuming that we're both out.
Did you find what I needed?
Yep. Got it right here.
Oh, come on. No, you don't. I'm serious. Tell me when you get one. For real.
But in here, we have a special thing. Here's where all of our, this is where all of the comics that we find around and books that we find, we put in here. Here's a bunch of clothes, and here's a bunch of armor. And here are a bunch of weapons, which fit in between these. Here's some more weapons in here. But also, there are holotapes in here and holotape games for Beans to play me, Kate, and Piper, and Sean. So when we set here, we can get on our terminal and, you know, we can play the games on there. Such thing would be, but yeah. And we've also found, as you saw, there's a few holotapes of music out in the Wasteland, which have been really helpful for just enjoying the time out here. And I think I'm going to end our tour here. It's been a long day, going around and showing you every bean and everything. So I think I'm going to rest here with my wife, Piper, and call it a night, and I'll see you for another tour the next time we meet. So thank you for coming along and enjoying our time here. So thank you, and hope to see you in our next tour. Iha.